Okay, for 31, it says the lengths of two adjacent sides of a rectangle. So adjacent means next to, or like neighbors. I live adjacent to someone else. I live next to them. So the lengths of two adjacent sides of a rectangle are represented by x plus 2 and 2x plus 7. In terms of x, what is the area in square feet of the rectangle? So area is my one most important word. I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture of a rectangle. The sides are x plus 2 and 2x plus 7. And remember that area means area is length times width, or base times height. So I need to multiply these two things together. Lucky for us, we know that we can use the box. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the box real fast. X plus 2, 2x plus 7, 2x squared, 4x, 7x, and 14. And then I know that I'm going to add these ones together, so that's going to give me 11x. So I'm going to look for the one that has 2x squared plus 11x plus 14. That's going to give me E. E is my correct answer. That is 31. For 32, it says which of the following inequalities is true? So each of these is saying, when it says like this means that this one is small and that one is big. Right, so when there's three of them, we would want to say, okay, this one is small, then this one is like a little bigger, and then this one is the biggest, because the open face always wants to be like, I don't know, like eating, right, like facing the bigger one, right, so the open part faces the big one. If you're like an alligator person, you might remember they put like little teeth on there, and they're like, the alligator wants to eat the big one. Okay. So I'm going to do this part of my calculator. So basically I'm going to do this number here on the inside, so square root of 3. And what they're saying is it's in between 2 and 4. But it's only 1.73, so it's not in between 2 and 4, so I know that that F is out. For letter G, I'm going to put all of these in decimals, so 1/2 would be 0.5. Square root of 1/3 is a little bit bigger, so that's good. And then 1/4, that's a smaller number. So I know that these are not in increasing order. This last one has to be the biggest. So because the arrows look like this, or the inequalities look like this, so I know it's not G. So then 4, and then 2 parentheses square root 5. So I get that. So I had 4, and now I have this, which is bigger, and then 5. And so it's in between 4 and 5. So it looks like H is our answer. I'm going to try this one real fast just to double check. So 3, right, is definitely less than 4, and then 5 is the biggest, but 4 is the biggest number out of these numbers here. So I know that J is out. And then square root of 2 is that. 2 times square root of 2 is this, so that seems fine. And then square root of 3. But that is a smaller number, so these are not in increasing order. So K is out. H has to be our correct answer. If there's something that you can memorize, I'd say this is like the most important thing. Right, so the open face is always going to be facing the bigger number, right, no matter how it's written. So if it was like facing the other direction, that means like this is the bigger one and this is the smaller one over here. So number 33 says 2 fair coins are repeatedly tossed simultaneously. So 2 fair coins, that means like a head coin and a head side and a tail side, are repeatedly tossed. So they keep like flipping them, and then simultaneously means at the same time. So you can imagine they're flipping 2 coins at the same time. It says, what's the probability that both coins land heads up on the 36th toss? So when you flip a coin, I want you to think about, like, does it matter if you flip heads? Are you more likely to flip tails or heads the next time? Like, no. If it's a fair coin, then it's like a 50-50 shot every time. So if you think about, there are 2 coins. Okay, here are the 2 coins. The first possibility is that they both end up tails. The next idea is that this one could be heads, this one could be tails. This one could be tails, well, this one could be heads, or they both could be heads, right? So it says, what's the probability that both coins land heads up? Right, so this one is out of a total of 4, right? So there's one option out of the 4 total options, which would be E, right? They're just asking about the 36th toss, so it could be the 100th toss or the 80th toss. It doesn't matter, because every time the 2 coins could land in these 4 ways. So that's what you get for 33. For 44, it says, suppose a student's course grade is determined solely by that student's scores on 8 tests, which are worth 100 points each. Right, so we have the 8 tests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot of tests. If Bain has an average of exactly 88 points on the first 6 tests, so 88, 88, 88. So we know this probably he didn't get straight 88s, but we can equate them for the first 6 tests, because if you got a little bit higher on this one, then you got a little lower on this one, or a little higher, a little lower. That's how averages work. So our averages are here, right? And it says, how many points must he average on the last 2 tests to earn exactly a 90-point course grade? So we need to know, like, what should he get on these 2, so that when you divide them by 8 total tests, we want to get a score of 90, because we want his score to be 90, to be exactly a 90-point course grade. So I want to figure out how many points he needs to get. So I'm going to multiply the 9 times, the 8 times 90, so I can get rid of this fraction kind of thing. It's going to cancel here. I'm going to do 90 times 8. My calculator, I get 720. So he needs to get 720 points, right? And he already has some of those points. He has all of these 88s. So I'm going to do 88 times 6. He already has 528 points. So 528 plus his next 2 tests need to get him to 720. So I'm going to go ahead and take away the 528, right? Because that will tell me how much more he needs to have. So 720 minus the 528. He needs to get 192 points left, but he has 2 tests to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that by 2. And that means that he has to get a 96. So he needs to get a 96 and a 96 on each of these tests in order to get to the 720 that he needs. So he needs a 96, which is G. Right, and then 35, we've done a warm-up question like this. It says, which of the following operations will produce the largest result when substituted for the blank in here? And we need to know average with, divided by, minus, plus, multiply by. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in. I have 62. Average with means we add them up together and then divide by 2, because there are 2 items. So I'm going to add these together. Negative 1 over 65, like that. And then divide by 2. So the average width answer is going to give me 30.99. And since I have the plus one here, I already have it on my screen. When I add them together, I get 61.98. 61.98. I can do minus real fast. I'm going to go up here, press enter, go back over, change this to a minus, press enter. So minus, I get 62.01. Say divided by, I'm going to go back up here, press that, go over here, divided by, I get some big, very large, but very negative. So negative 40, 30, and then multiplied by, I'm going to go ahead and do this, I change it to multiplication, and I get a very small number that's negative, so negative 0.95, right? And they're looking for the largest result here. So which of these is the largest number? This is a big number, but it's negative, so it's actually a really, really small number. And then 62 is the biggest number that I see here. So C minus is my best answer. So that's 35.